Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm out and about running an errand, keeping my social distance from people, not trying to expose myself or anybody else, but had to get out of the house and wanted to share a video today and to encourage you and to let you know that, again, God is in control and God is okay. But I wanted to share something I heard today from a gentleman by the name of Bob Goff, a very well-known author, Christian author, man of faith. And he wrote a book called Love Does and several others. But this guy is just incredible at encouraging and incredible at just helping to give perspective at times. So I wanted to share a few things that he shared today. So I wish I could contribute this to myself, but I can't. But for those of you listening, whether you're part of Appointed Church or you're a friend of mine or extended family or whatever, I just hope this encourages you today. But one of the things that Bob Goff said today is that in the middle of this, there's a lot of stuff going on. Sometimes it's not so fun. Sometimes it's not so good. And we realize that there's death going on. We realize that there's challenges happening in all of this. And so he said one thing we need to do, especially as Christians, as people who call themselves followers of Jesus, we need to stack rocks. And what he meant by that was he was referring to the Old Testament when God would call his people, take care of his people, do amazing things for his people, miracles and signs and wonders. And then he would tell them, build an altar, build a monument to remember what I've done for you. So Bob is saying, hey, stack rocks. Every time you see God at work, every time you understand that something good is happening and you contribute that to God, remember that. Stack rocks. Build an altar, if you would. Build a monument for that. Write it down, or put something physically on your mirror in your car, and say, "Hey, God took care of us then." Something else that Bob shared is this: he is a pilot, and 20 years ago, while he was learning to fly, he said the one thing that they do when they train you to be a pilot is they have you practice for the bad stuff. They have you prepare for when things could go wrong. And he says, these are the three things that they tell you: to pitch, to pick, and to point. And he said, when you pitch, he said, instead of pulling back and pulling the nose of the plane up out of it, you put the nose of the plane into the trouble and you move forward. And for us as Jesus followers and in this time, we need to pitch forward and lean into Jesus. Then he said, pick. You got to pick a place to land. You got to look and scope the landscape and make sure you can put this thing down. And in our particular situation, again, where are we going to land in this? Where are we going to find safety? And we need to pick Jesus and trust him in this time. And finally he said, point. When you pitch and when you pick and you find your place, then point right to it and go for it. And for us, pointing to Jesus and pointing ourselves and pointing our friends and pointing the world to Jesus at this time. That's what we need. As he finished up his little sharing time today, he shared a final story that was really cool and really applies. He is a professor at Pepperdine Law School, and then also he teaches online, I assume, or maybe in person, at San Quentin Prison. One of the prisoners was released and was given his freedom. And in the time that he had been in prison, which was a long time, he had never used a cell phone. Well, he was given a cell phone, and the first person he called was Bob Goff to thank him and to tell him. And then Bob asked him, he said, so man, what are you feeling? What are you thinking with this freedom? What's going on in your mind? And the first thing the guy said to him was, I've got pockets. Prison clothes don't have pockets, don't allow pockets. Outside clothes, civilian clothes have pockets, and he was excited about that. But Bob's response to him, and I think it's very valuable right now for us, is this. He told the man, be careful what you put in your pockets. Be careful what you fill your pockets with. And ladies and gentlemen and folks, for us right now, we've got to be careful what we put in our pockets, what we hang on to, what we carry around with us. In this pandemic, in this global crisis, in this time when things are just awry and out of skew and off kilter and out of routine, and we're trying to figure out, hey, my family's trying to figure out, how do we do this? I got an 8-year-old who still needs to go to school, and how do we go to bed early, get up on time, get things done? How do you work out? How do you get work done? How do you do all this kind of stuff? I understand. But we can spend all of our time putting the bad stuff, the bad rocks, if you would, the bad content into our pockets and carrying that around. What we need to do is stop and go, wow, God, you're amazing. You're doing this here. You're doing this there. You've provided for my family here. You provided for that family there. I'm healthy. We're healthy. And our city is still functioning at some level. People are still able to make a living. Hey, I've got young men that I know that are in the fast food industry, and they still have jobs and they're making money. So God is good. Remember, put good stuff in your pockets. Be careful what you put in your pockets. And so as I wrap it up today, I just want to leave that with you and let you know again that God is good and God is alive and well and He's working. And if you are part of Appointed Church, if you're not a part of Appointed Church, if you're a friend of mine locally or across the country or elsewhere, we have a 6 o'clock Zoom prayer gathering tonight, 6 o'clock Pacific time, by the way. And feel free to join us. If you want, you can email or whatever you need to do and ask for that link and we'll send it to you. But it's on our Facebook page, our public and our private Facebook page. So jump in, folks. Have a great day and God bless.